for immersion students.
In many schools around our state, there are large groups of students who already have a background in the language other than English being taught. These students are native speakers or heritage speakers. In Texas, the vast majority of native-speaking students speak Spanish, whether born here or in another country. All these students represent a valuable linguistic and cultural resource, and their language skills should be expanded and strengthened.
My sister was born in Mexico, and a lot of my family speaks Spanish. I was pretty much the only one who, growing up, I didn't learn as much Spanish as my brothers and sisters did. So I can speak Spanish okay, but coming into communications arts, it improved my Spanish a whole lot. It made me realize how important it was, and I started speaking it a lot more at home because I realized I needed to practice it, especially going into the field I want to go into, which is international law. I have to know Spanish, and I have to speak it well.
They bring to the school setting a real gift, and that needs to be polished both for themselves and to benefit us. We have a self-interest here too. So it's important to us that even though they may speak Spanish, that we give them the opportunity to develop literacy skills, which are sometimes not present, to provide them some very positive things about their culture. They are our neighbors to the south, and to provide tools for them to use to pursue whatever they'd like to pursue when they leave school.
In states like Texas, where Spanish is a commonly spoken language, limited resources may cause some communities to choose Spanish as the only language offered in an extended sequence, elementary through high school. Still, school districts should, whenever possible, find ways to offer students the opportunity to learn a variety of languages. In Houston, Yvette Hino describes the differences between Arabic and other more commonly taught languages.
The glottal stops, where the sound is coming from, the fact that there aren't that many vowels, this is very different for them. It seems harsh at first to them as speakers of English or Spanish or maybe some other languages, which are Romance languages, which are very soft, and the Arabic sounds harsh to them.
At Taylor High School in Katy, there's only one teacher, but students have the opportunity to learn Japanese. Helen Nakamoto says Japanese really isn't as difficult to learn as one might imagine. She wishes more students would give Japanese a try.
Pronunciation is very easy. Japanese language is all centered around 5 vowels. So almost all the sound ends with the 5 vowels. You don't have to worry about hard consonant and so forth. So that is one aspect makes it easy.
Learning languages other than English enlarges the base of knowledge available to a student. All students can add to their educational experience by using another language for interdisciplinary connections within the school curriculum. In teacher Jane McCurdy's Spanish 4 AP class at Lake Highlands High School in the Richardson Independent School District, students learn about the great works of art, a bit of history, a bit of geography, more than just Spanish language.
I'm a lover of the fine arts, and so I think sometimes the kids love what the teacher loves. So I've had the kids act out little segments of Cervantes, like La Gitanilla, or a segment, one little chapter of Don Quixote, or The Miracle of Guadalupe. So they learn a little bit of culture through drama, through art.
In addition, students involved in LOTE programs gain insight into other subject areas. Using their target language, students might have the opportunity to enhance their computer and internet skills. At Cinco Ranch High School outside Houston, Heidi Kirby has her German 2 students writing and sending emails and communicating with e-pals at a high school in Germany. They're using a second language to help reinforce a variety of technology skills.
Mädchen und Jungen.
Learning about and experiencing other cultures is an integral part of studying languages other than English. The LOTE discipline has grown to value and encompass a fuller, more comprehensive understanding of culture.
Whenever I have a lesson that I'm giving, I make sure that lesson has more than just learning, because language is the portrayal of culture. So that means just by teaching language is not enough if they are not aware of the culture.
The fact that they are learning another culture and another language and another perspective on things, I think will help them in many ways to understand other people in our country, especially given the fact that we are a country that is changing demographically. I think it will help them in that respect, and I also think it will help them to understand their own language and their own culture better if they know a second one quite well.
Traditional ways of exploring culture include studying famous people or historical events. But culture in language instruction today in Texas is generally understood to include examining how people perceive themselves and others, what local people in second language countries do, and what products or services these people use or provide.
Many times I would say, okay, today students, it's Friday, and we're going to have a culture day. We're going to bring in food and we're going to talk about the foods of that country, but maybe there wasn't a connectivity to real world experiences. And now I see where we are connecting culture not only to the comparisons of how other people live, but also to the comparisons of how we speak a language. So I see it very integrated.
The 8 guiding principles serve as a foundation for the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills for languages other than English. The TEKS for LOTE are the standards that describe what all students should know and be able to do at different stages within the LOTE discipline. These standards are organized around 5 program goals, often referred to by educators as the 5 C's. First and foremost is communication. In LOTE classrooms, students are striving to speak a second language, and communication is the vehicle language learners use to become proficient. The other 4 goals stem from the use of the target language in the classroom. Students learn about the culture associated with their second language and gain valuable insight into the people of that country or region. Learning a second language, students make connections with subject areas like history and art and to acquire information in the target language. By comparing their second language to their first language, students develop insight into the nature and formulation of all languages. Finally, students are encouraged to take their second language out into the community to use it with neighbors here at home or in communities abroad. It is the acceptance of and implementation of these 5 program goals or 5 C's into daily lesson plans that Texas educators believe is a key to advanced proficiency for language learners.
I think it's important that we've started to focus on the 5 C's because I really think that is where language teaching needs to go. It's always been near and dear to my heart to run a classroom that way, and it's good to see validation that is through the research that is exactly what's been found to be successful, and to share that with all teachers and encourage that in everybody. I'm very happy to see that.
But I think the 5 C's have really made it for students. When I teach it to them, they say, oh, yes, Frau, that's right, that's cool. Or we compare, oh, Germans really do that. Or, oh, yeah, students do that. And I think they really begin to see communication. I do want them to leave talking. Culture, they go get a job in the real world and they know the culture of that country. So I feel the 5 C's connecting. I think people, everyday people, students are able to relate better to those, and it's made teaching a lot more, I think, in a way easier. I feel a lot more easy to relate to.
Of the 5 program goals, communication skills are recognized as the primary focus of successful language learners. Being able to really speak and communicate in the target language is what it's all about.
I believe very strongly that most of the reason that students sign up to take language is because they want to speak. They want to understand, they want to have conversations, they want to feel comfortable in situations where that language is being used. They don't really want to go out of here and learn how to, I can conjugate 400 verbs. I know all the 20 tenses or whatever. I know exactly where to put every accent, although those things are important.
I told them my goal in life is to never have one of them come back to an open house and tell me, well, I took 2 years or 3 years of high school Spanish, I can't speak a word. Because I said, you will not leave my classroom not speaking a word. You will speak some Spanish.
They have to have time, and they have to have the encouragement, and they have to not be afraid of making mistakes. If they want to be perfect, then they just go back. But if they accept that, I think it's good for them to hear me speak English once in a while because I have an accent, so, oh, well. And I tell them, well, look at me. I have been here how many years, and I still have an accent, but I can communicate. So it is. So they they go beyond that fear, and they go ahead and they use the language.
So, the adventure of learning and teaching a language other than English continues for students, teachers, and school administrators all across the state of Texas. Working together, the goal of advanced proficiency for language learners in Texas public schools now appears within reach, and the lessons learned by all involved are proving to be invaluable.
Somehow or another, someplace along the way, somebody understood that in 2 or 3 years you can learn another language. It's not that way. It's a long process. It's a process that the longer you're with it, the better you get. It's as simple as that. It is not something that's going to happen in a 2-year period. You're going to automatically become a German speaker or a French speaker or a Spanish speaker. It just doesn't happen.
Many of us have taken foreign languages throughout the years because it was a requirement to get into a college, and certainly that requirement still exists today. However, the emphasis is so much greater on being able to use a foreign language in the world today because of the businesses and the opportunities that we have to interact over the internet and through other vehicles of communication with other countries. So students, I think, are coming into the classroom seeing it as a life skill that they're learning, not just as something that they're learning to memorize and walk away from and forget.
When we established the school, we said that in order to be a leader in the 21st century, one needs to be able to write well, to speak well, to use visual language and technology, and to be able to use another language. And anyone who understands the global economy and the changes that technology has made in all of our lives, but particularly for our students, how their lives are going to be so different, it's absolutely essential that someone be able to use another language besides English.
I've been doing Spanish for 3 years, and I chose it because we live in Texas, and every day we associate with people who speak with Spanish, and it helps you communicate with them better, and you can relate with them better, and if you know their culture, you'll get to know each other well.
The messages we get back from our kids who have a strong proficiency in a second or even a third language, once they get away to college, is they're doing very well, very well.
Thank you for watching Learning Languages Other Than English, a Texas Adventure. For more information about any of the topics discussed or to contact any of the individuals who helped in the production of this video, please visit the Languages Other Than English Center for Educator Development website at www.cedal.org/LOTE-CED or contact LOTE CED Director Lillian King Meidlinger at 1-800-476-6861 or contact the LOTE Division at the Texas Education Agency at 1-512-936-2444.